Marcus Ericsson, Swedish, racing driver, to win the championship in GP2.
So we are back again with an interview with Marcus Ericsson. This time we're not at a racing track, it's off season, but I thought we'd do an interview. And this will probably be the longest interview in your entire racing life. Are you prepared for that?
I'm fully prepared.
Good. I thought we'd start at the very beginning, not when you were born, but you started karting 7 years old. Could you talk us about through a bit about your first years in Cadetti, Micro and Mini?
Yeah, I mean, how it all started was I was 7 years old, started to do some rental karting at Freddie Ekblom's place close to my hometown. So I did that when I was 7 and 8, a little bit of that, and then Freddie spotted me driving and thought that was a big talent, and spoke to my dad, and he helped us to get in contact with a karting team called Ward Racing. So my first real year driving competitions was in Cadetti in '99, and that was not so much, you know, a couple of races, but it went quite well. We went after that straight to Micro, and first year was quite tough. I was driving in the middle Sweden championship, or what you can call it, and yeah, it was quite tough. You learn a lot, and it was 100 competitors in my category, so yeah, it was quite difficult. Second year though went quite well. I think I finished third in the championship, so it was not too bad. After that, the 2 years in Micro, we went to Mini, the next category, and I did also 2 years in that, if I remember right. And the second year was really good. I won the Middle Sweden Championship and won a lot of races. And that actually year was 120 competitors in my category over the season, so it was a good achievement. And then my team I was racing for, Ward Racing, wanted me to sort of take a step to Europe.
Yeah, there are a lot of young boys and girls out there starting in karting. Most of them do. Do you have 3 tips to boys and girls starting in karting?
Yeah, I think it's important to try and drive as much as possible. That's when you learn. I think you should not focus too much in the early years to be in, you know, the most expensive series or stuff like that. You need to be in a series where you can be able to drive a lot and do a lot of races and testing to learn. And second tip, that was the first one maybe. Second is to never give up. You need to work hard, and even if it's not easy, you need to work hard and keep trying. Never stop believing in yourself. And third tip, what should that be? Don't really know. I just have fun. It's most important to have fun, and you should never forget that. Even how focused you are or difficult it is, you need to have fun. Always remember that.
Yeah, I think that it's in every sport. Have fun and listen to the correct people.
Yes.
Do you remember what your idols were when you started in karting, motorsport stars?
I think Schumacher was one of them. Because that was the guy who was winning everything in Formula 1. I cannot really say I'm a big fan of him nowadays, but obviously he was the greatest when I was a kid, and he was sort of the idol. But to be honest, I more liked Valentino Rossi. I think he is a great personality, and I really think he's cool.
Yeah. We're back now in 2004. You were 13 years and you started international karting in Intercontinental A Junior. It's now called KF3. What was the feeling going international? I mean, like traveling new tracks and new opponents and stuff like that.
It was quite a big challenge because we've only been racing in Sweden before, and obviously it was very difficult to take the step financially. But we got really good help from my team, Ward Racing, and also from Tony Kart down in Italy. so we were able to do it. But it meant that my dad had to do a lot of trips down to Italy with the bus. So he was driving quite a lot back and forth to Italy, which is not the best trip maybe, but yeah, he had to do some work. But yeah, it was a good challenge. It was obviously, you learn a lot when you got out in Europe, because competition was just unbelievable. But first year was quite tough, but already the second year the results started to come also outside in Europe.
Yeah, I've heard a bit about these trips from your father, and quite horrendous.
Yeah, I mean, to go 28 hours in, you know, one go, you never stop in a hotel or anything, just go. You have 2 drivers driving the bus and just switching all the time when the other one gets tired. So I mean, not the greatest trips, and I was in there sometimes as well, sitting in the middle in between the 2 drivers, and I mean, yeah, it was not so good, but that's what we had to do because it was too expensive otherwise.
Yeah, must be tough combining, because you were obviously in school, combine the school with all those trips abroad and training and racing and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, but I was lucky to have a school. I was, at that time, I was in the Skola in Kumla. So they were really great to me, because they understand the situation and helped me a lot to sort of be able to go into school while still being away a lot. So they were really helpful for me, because otherwise it would not be possible.
So then we thank Skolan.
Yes, thank you.
Also, as I understand, one of the key factors was actually racing with Joachim and Rosemary, and you, as I understand, you had a very good relationship with them and still have.
Yeah, I mean, they were great to me, and they helped me all the time to get things possible. And I never raced for another team in karting, which is quite unique, I think. A lot of guys keep shifting different teams and stuff like that, but I was always with Ward through all my years, and I don't regret that one thing, because they are a great team and great people, which I still have very good contact with. So for sure, for me, it was no other option than to race with them.
And it must have been with them you started the communication with setup, learning how the car is behaving, and describing to the people doing the setup what is wrong with the car.
Yeah, I mean, Joachim, who is the owner of the team, he's very experienced and know how to do things, and he helped me a lot. And also I had my dad as mechanic, and we had some discussions all the time as well. So yeah, for sure, that was when you started to learn how to sort of express how you were feeling in the kart and what you wanted to get better, you know.
Yeah, there's no use saying it doesn't work, change it.
No, exactly.
Another thing, I find that you have a very good relationship with your father and mother, Thomas and Kerstin. Do you have 3 tips to karting fathers and mothers out there?
I mean, it's always very difficult. It's a lot of crazy fathers, karting drivers around, but I think it's important to of course always be supportive, but then also trying not to be too hard on your son or your daughter, because you can see that many times that is they're very tough on them, and that's not gonna help. And also I think one day you need to sort of let someone else take care and help them to develop, because you can never go all the way with your father or your mother on your shoulder, you know. You need to grow up yourself as well. So that's what I can say.
And as always, have fun.
Have fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Good point, yeah.
In 2005 you became Swedish and Nordic champion in Intercontinental A.
Junior.
Yeah, junior. Thank you. Because 2006 you moved up into Intercontinental A, or
correct.
KF2 as it's called now.
Yeah.
And as I see it, this was your first breakthrough for people not involved closely in karting. You won the Italian Open race at South Garda, and started to become visible to national and international press. Can you remember the feeling after that specific race?
Just that specific race was quite cool because we were in South Garda, and it's sort of the home of karting in Europe. That's where you always go testing, and it's always big crowds even on the karting races there, so it's a great feeling to be driving there. And I remember it closely because it's Tony Kart, the brand I was driving for. It's their home track, and they are very, very successful, and always wins a lot. But that specific weekend, in all categories, there was only one Tony Kart that won a final, and that was me. None of the factory drivers, it was me. So it was quite a fun feeling, and the owner of Tony Kart, he came up to me and said, thank you for that, because we needed to have some Tony Kart to win in this weekend. So yeah, it was quite fun actually.
And it was a Swede.
Yeah, boy.
What happened at the end of that season was the absolute key factor, I think, for the continuation of your career. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me and my family, it was we never really thought of going to Formula cars at that moment, because we had, all our efforts was to be able to do the karting, and that was on the edge that we were possible to do that. So to be thinking of doing formulas where you need, millions of Swedish kroner, it's not possible. So we were focused in the karting, trying to get that to work, and then I got in contact with Kenny Breck and AELG, and started to speak to them, and that was sort of how it started to look into Formula cars.
Yeah, it must have been a gigantic step going from karting to Formula BMW. How do you adapt going from such a small car as a kart and going to a real car, actually?
Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, from karting you learn all the basics, but in a car it's so much more with the aerodynamic stuff, and you need to develop the setup and stuff like that. So it was quite difficult at first, and especially the high-speed corners where you need to use the aerodynamic to your advantage. So it took quite a lot of test days before you sort of got the hang of it, and learned that you need to go quicker and quicker in the high-speed corners, because then you get more and more downforce. So yeah, it took me a while, but I think for me Formula BMW was a very, very good category to start in, because it's quite a small car, not so fast, and you can learn all the basics there. So it was good, and after a while I got used to it and started to be really fast.
Yeah, you got used to it faster than anyone else, because you won the entire Formula BMW series at your rookie year.
Yeah, I mean that was unbelievable year, because to come from karting and straight in and win a championship like that, which is a high-profile championship, it was the UK championship, and a lot of experienced guys was in it. And I mean, the goal for the season, which we set up, was to be top 8, and then the second year try and win the championship. And to go in there and win it in the first year was a great achievement, and that was what really put my name on in the world, in the racing world, because then people thought, oh, this guy's good,
And after that season, you took another gigantic leap. You tried a Formula F3 car for the first time. Was it equally high step going from Formula BMW to Formula 3 as from karting to Formula BMW?
No, I think it was not as big a step, but Formula BMW I think was a good sort of, you learn all the basics, and then F3 you had to develop them even more, but it was the same sort of feeling. So it was not as big step, but of course it was difficult because they are a lot bigger car and a lot faster. But I was with the team I was running in BMW, Fortec Motorsport. I stayed with them for the next year in Formula 3, and they helped me a lot. I worked with really great people, both in BMW and in F3. And the team boss there, Richard Dutton, helped me a lot as well to make everything possible. So, I mean, the first year in F3 I was unbelievably fast, but I was still only 17 or 18. Yeah, turning 18 I think. So it was difficult in that way, because it was a lot of things that I needed to learn in a very short time. But still it was a good year. We managed to finish 5th in the championship after all, and it was a tough year with Jamie Alguersuari who won the championship, and Sergio Perez finished 3rd I think. So yeah, I mean the competition was really tough, and to be finishing 5th there was a good achievement.
Yeah, you had no wins, but you had 2 poles and 5 podiums. And like you mentioned, you met a lot of drivers there which you have been competing against later on, like Brendan Hartley, Alvaro Perez, Max Chilton. One thing you wonder, how many of the drivers do you actually consider friends?
That's a difficult one. I mean, on the race weekend I'm really focused on the racing, and I don't really want to speak too much with other people, but still, you know, it's some people I became a little bit more friends than others. I mean, I have a couple of guys because I go training in Austria, and when you're done training, physical training, it's more easy, you know, because then you speak and you're not on a racetrack and it's not a competition. So I got to know Grubmuller Walter, an Austrian guy who I know quite well now, and I need to try and remember. Brendan obviously is a good friend of me, which I know quite well. Heimi Alguersuari I speak to sometimes. Now it's a bit more difficult, you know, when he's in Formula 1, so he's busy enough. But yeah, I mean, it's there are some people that I have got to know through the racing, but still, you know, you're there for the business. You need to do your work and not hang around and make friends. You know, you need to be professional and focus on your work.
Yeah, you need to be in your own bubble there. You're not there to make friends, you're there to win a championship.
Exactly, yeah.
And at the end of 2008, you raced in Macau for the first time. Most people know Monaco and think it's a very tight track. Try to describe the difference between the Monaco track and the crazy Macau track.
It's difficult, but I mean the Macau track is the best one in the world in my opinion. It's just so challenging, and I mean such a high-speed track with so narrow corners, and it's just blind corners everywhere, and you need so much confidence in yourself and in the car to be able to be quick there. And I remember the first time I went out there, I was so scared because I was never even in my fantasy, I was never imagining myself being able to run flat out there, you know, and 100%. But you know, you get used to it and take it step by step, and yeah, I always remember Macau is the best racing I've ever driven. You know, I mean, to drive around there, every corner was a pleasure, and I really liked it.
Yeah, must be the ultimate challenge. It looks just crazy driving there, but it's enjoying.
Yeah, it's awesome.
In the winter of 2008, you got a contract with Tom Toyota to compete in the Japanese Formula 3 Championship. So, 2009, 19 years old, you traveled to the other side of the world. Other parents worry about their kids coming home and what they are doing. And this must be crazy, both for your parents and for you. What was the feeling traveling to the other side of the world alone, actually?
Yeah, it was really tough because I've always, before that, I lived with my mom and dad in Sweden and traveled to the races from Sweden, and then now I was gonna move to the other side of the world, to Japan, live in my own apartment there, and I didn't know anyone there, so it was really tough, but it was a really good thing, and I don't regret it for one time now after, because I learned so much, and you grew up so much in yourself, not only in the racing but in the personal side as well. So for me it was great to do, and you mature a lot. But of course it was a lot of days you were thinking, what am I doing here? This is shit, you know. But you just had to deal with it and got through it, and I'm really glad I did it, because I learned so much, and that have helped me a lot in my career.
Yeah, and this was the season when I started to follow you more actively due to your blog. It became a very tight end of the season. You had to win the last race to win the series. What was the feeling before the race?
Yeah, it was tough because I qualified on pole, and it was like 1 point difference between me and Takuto Iguchi, my teammate. And we knew I was in pole position, he was starting second, and we knew that the one who finished in front of the other was gonna win the championship. So it was really like, yeah, a strange feeling, you know. You were really nervous but still looking forward to it. I had the opportunity to do it. Unfortunately, I I didn't really get the greatest of starts, not a bad one, but not great. And Takuto did a really good start and managed to take the start. So I was second on this small and twisty track where it was impossible to overtake. So I was running behind him in his gearbox, knowing I was quicker, but I couldn't overtake him. But yeah, with 5 laps to go, I think I just did a bit of a crazy move because I knew I had to win this championship. So I just put everything on one card and just went through the inside into turn 1, I think it was, and managed to get it to stick and wrapped up the championship by doing that. So I mean, to win a championship with 5 laps to go after a whole season, was that feeling after the race is not possible to describe. I think it was unbelievable and just so great to win it in that way. That's how you should win a championship. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I looked at there was a video from this, and I can recommend you to look it up on YouTube, because it was just perfect maneuver. You got it on the inside of him and he had to let you go, and then he's actually spun after the corner. Yeah,
I mean, he knew what was happening as well. If he had lost the position, he knew the championship was over, so he was trying for everything he could to hang on the outside and trying to get on the inside for the next corner. But I just managed to, push him wide enough that he had to lift off, but he wouldn't do that, so he just spun himself instead. But it was a great move, and that was very important for my career as well, because it's always important to win championships.
Yeah, and this fall, I say, this was when Marcus Ericsson fan club was actually founded. So that's when everybody could start following you more actively. So now we're back in modern time. We've gone from karting to GP2 in 22 minutes.